So you were sold a dream. That dream was that if you opened this credit card that the TikTok influencer, the YouTube influencer, or the random personal finance blog was trying to promote, you were told that if you opened up that credit card that they told you to open, that you'd be able to fly somewhere or anywhere for free. That all sounds great. You very well might be able to do that depending on what you did and how you plan on using those points. But now you're sitting on points and you don't really know what to do with them. You were told that you could cash them out, so maybe you just take the cash and go book a flight like you normally would. But let's talk about how you can actually use those points to get maximum value. So I have here a set of parameters. This is a sample set of parameters. And we are going to assume that you live and are going to fly out of Portland. You want to go to Hawaii. You want to go sometime in July when kids are out of school. You have 8 days to play with, more or less. We're going to be flexible here because that's one of the keys. You have 75,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points. So you opened up, let's say the Chase Sapphire preferred because the blog influencer person was going to earn a commission if you did. And although they didn't say that that's why they're promoting it, that is why they were promoting it. And you know, you got 75,000 Chase points, so that's not bad. You got 2 people you want to fly, and you don't care if it's economy. You don't really care what the cash out of pocket is for the flight. It's domestic. It's the United States. So there's not going to be any crazy surcharges or taxes and fees. It's just going to be the standard. So let's look at what we should do. All right, so here's what I would do if I were in that position. I want to go to Hawaii. I'm West Coast based. I'm in Portland. That's not where I am, but those are the sample parameters here. So let's say we're flying from Portland, PDX, and we want to go to Hawaii. This is a website that I use often. Let's start with Honolulu. It's called Points. Yeah, this website, it's completely free. You just have to log in with an account. So log in with whatever account you want or a Gmail, and it'll help you search across different programs. Not all of them. It's not perfect, but it's quite broad and flexible. So let's just say not 4th of July. Yeah, let's do 4th of July. Why not? Let's see what's available and go. So this website is basically, it's kind of like Google Flights, but for points. So Google Flights is not very good at giving you the points, although we can talk about how you can see point prices, even when you're searching Google Flights. And we just have to wait for this to load. All right, so now that we have some options, here's the problem. We have Chase points. We don't have City points. We don't have Alaska Atmos rewards. So let's go to bank programs up here and say we only have Chase. All right, so United is selling a ticket for $39,000 per person, and that is apparently the lowest. That's not a good price. Okay, that is to Honolulu. What I didn't do is go to this website, Flight Connections. So you can say, I want to go from Portland. Where can I go? And we're interested in Hawaii, so we see that you can fly from Portland to Honolulu. You fly Alaska or Hawaii nonstop. I'm guessing that these had, yeah, so these have a layover in San Francisco, San Francisco, San Francisco. So all those are going to have layovers. So we don't want those anyway. So Honolulu, not the best option. And this is good. I mean, this is, I only use free versions, so everything has pop-ups. Everything has PDX. From PDX, you can go to Koa on Alaska, Uli on Alaska, Honolulu, Alaska, and Kauai on Alaska. Okay. What if took a quick short hop up to Seattle? So all of a sudden, let's see, so Kauai, thank you. Honolulu. So Delta opens up, which is good. Alaska and Hawaiian. Book Alaska Airlines with Chase. So I guess British Airways could work, but I don't think it would give you a good price. Is that really the only one world that we have? Okay, 20,000 isn't bad. So let's change you to Seattle. Same time frame. So you gotta wait for the website to load. As you can see, there's a little progress bar at the top, but it'll just show what it has. It's in no particular order until it is finished loading. So while this progress bar is still moving, you know that this is not in any order. This is not sorting anything. It's just showing what it has found. And as you can see, Alaska from Seattle to Vegas to Honolulu. Interesting. There's only 22,500 American miles to fly Alaska Airlines. Let's change the bank program to Chase. Okay, so still an insane price. Are none of these available to Air Canada? Because that kind of surprises me. It also doesn't search obvious. Does it search Air Canada? I don't know. Okay. Well, why don't we try Air Canada? And we'll also try British Airways. And we'll look at United because why not? So once we are signed in, we can look with Avios. United is signed in, so let's go. Let's go back to PDX. Honolulu. 2 adults. Just go one way for now. July 3rd. July 3rd. And then there's something else. Well, let's see. So this will give me a nonstop. Well, actually no. I'll do fly Portland to any of these. Let's go one way. July 3rd. Say 2 adults. Go. Okay, so here we have some United economy. So let's change it to the 4th. Still 39K. British. No availability. 3rd. No availability, let's go to 4th. So this, reset that. And yeah, I mean this, so reset. So this is Seattle to Honolulu on the 5th and 6th. There's the 4th. Okay. Flights available. Phoenix, or Portland to Phoenix, Phoenix to Honolulu. But because it is not nonstop, it will cost 80,000 Avios. So it's 40K per person. And that's because there's 2 segments. So it's because there's a layover. So, let's see. Change this. Nonstop only. Seattle, Honolulu. We also have a Delta flight. So, let's go, let's change to be Seattle. Back. I don't think I care about United. Because British Airways can find it for Air France. No availability. Change it to the 4th. So non-stops, doesn't look like there is, except on the 6th. So let's let that load and we'll check on the 6th. Checked, log in. Okay. Okay. So try it again. Got 1 passenger. Try to change it. Okay, so I find that hard to believe. There's nothing available in July. But just for the sake of being thorough, here's that direct Seattle Honolulu 20,000 miles and $27. So this is flying in economy. So if it's available for 21,000, then that means Virgin Atlantic should have it available. So basically, for an extra 1,000 miles, 21,000 compared to 22,000, you can pay $5.60. It just shows rounded up to $6. So 560 compared to 27.35. If you think of your points, about an extra 1,000 divided by 100, $10. The difference in cash is 21.75. So you are essentially using 1,000 miles to save 21.75, which is like getting 2 cents per point for those 1,000 miles. Now, 1,000 miles is probably the most insignificant number. But all that goes to show that it is worth it to pay an extra 1,000 in order to save $20, because that means that the points are worth, again, 2 cents per point. Let's see. So this is Seattle, Honolulu. So this is obviously not Portland. The problem is Portland does not have great options that are available to you with chase points if you want to go non-stop to Hawaii, even if you're okay with a layover somewhere, because maybe flying out of Portland, you're just used to having a layover, so that's fine. The problem is the cost of that layover becomes very expensive. So the typical suggestion in this case is to reposition to Seattle or another similar city. Seattle's just close. To reposition there, which means just pay cash or maybe pay some miles to fly or to depart out of, to fly out of that other city. And doing that will save you what is often a substantial or at least a significant number of points. Okay. All right, so American is showing a flight available to Alaska. That's Alaska. Here you go. It's nonstop for 30K. That is interesting. It just might be available to partners. So July 3rd, Portland to Kauai. Also July 5th. Oh, showing this one would be available. It's worth checking. Frankly, I'd rather check on AA. $22.5. Interesting. Pretty cheap. Okay. Want non-stop only. None available. None available. There's a nonstop on August 7th. And that is flying Alaska. That's AS. So they're operated by Alaska. So 20,500. Here's the thing: you have chase points. You don't have either Alaska or American. So let's check. This is August 23rd. There's wide availability on August 23rd from PDX to LIH, Kauai on August 23rd. One way, go. See what it finds. Great. Kicked me out. Let's try again. There you go. Portland to Kahului, available to a partner on July 3rd. Okay, so let's see what British Airways found. It found a nonstop flight, Portland to Kauai, 22,000 avios and $5. That is on August 24th. I said the 23rd. Anyway, that's all in August. No, 23rd. That's what I clicked the first time. 22,000. Okay. So, and then just for kicks, this one on American is 40,000 because it has the extra. All right, so we found another one. This is British Airways flying Alaska from PDX to Kauai. Yep. On the date of August 23rd, 6 hours, 8 minutes. Okay, now let's look for Portland to Kahului on July 3rd. Portland, OTG. Go back to our original parameter here. Hopefully I'll find something there. Nonstop. Oh wow, that is wide open availability. Third would probably be the best. Flights available. 7 seats left. It's a 6-hour flight available for $22,560. So this is on July 3rd, which is what we wanted. And that is 5 hours and 58. So that is exactly what we're looking for. Portland to Hawaii. We found to Kahului Island. And as you can see, it is wide open for the nonstops. Available to partners on July 3rd. In economy, 22,000. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, I have 2 people, and if each round trip ticket is 22,000, then that means I need 88,000. Well, maybe, maybe not. Because, you know what, why don't we just flip this? Go the other way. We'll be there for 8 days. And go. So if we needed, let's just say, theoretically, we need, U times 4. So you need 88,000. But U divided by a 30% transfer bonus, now you only need 68,000. Let's say the transfer bonus is only 20% of British Airways. Now you only need 74,000. Okay. Looks like we can go the day prior. Nope, on the 9th or the 15th. So basically, maybe you can shift, because I believe, we open this back up. So let's say you want to capitalize that 4th of July weekend. Maybe you go 9. One-way miles. GG. This is Maui, right? Yeah. So 9. Let's say leave on the 1st. Yeah, you can do that. 22,000 British or American. So American charges 22,500. British Airways would only charge 22,000. So yeah, if you went on the 1st and then came home, say on the 9th, there's your 8 days. That's 4th of July weekend. So being flexible meant the world. So let's change this. Now that we have 2 dates, let's go 1st to the 9th. We saw availability with flying Alaska, but booking through American. That means that Alaska Airlines allowed their partner American Airlines to see and book that flight. British Airways is also a partner with Alaska, so theoretically they should also see that that award and be able to book it. So we just have to wait for that to load, and then we will confirm whether that is the case. Flights available on the 1st, flights available on the 9th. We click both of those. Then you have a round trip, $44,011, nonstop flight from Portland to Maui. Now again, 44,000, well you need 88,000, you only have 75. One, that's only 13,000 short. I'm not saying you should buy them, but even buying them is a possibility. So how do I come up with the extra 13,000 that I would need? I have 75, I need 88. So what I did here is I showed you what you would need with a 20% British Airways transfer bonus. And then, like I already showed, 30% transfer bonus. So with a 20% transfer bonus, you would have enough, 74,000. If you could get a 20% transfer bonus to British Airways from Chase, then you would have enough to book this 88,000 Avios flight, or these flights, because it's round trip. In fact, why don't we just plug this in here that we have on the 1st, and we also have on the way back. The 9th, and then doesn't matter. Say it's 5 hours. I want to say it was 5 hours 22, but doesn't matter. So there's your round trip right there. So that is one way that you can do it. Now, the other question that you may have is, well, how do I know if there's a transfer bonus and when will there be one? Great question. Let's close these here. Don't need those. And let's go to a great resource called frequentmiler.com. These guys are awesome. They basically keep a list of everything that happens or has happened in semi-recent memory and search British Airways. So Chase, 30% transfer bonus from Chase to British Airways for the month of October last year. Chase, 20% transfer bonus for the month of March. Chase, 20% transfer bonus, yeah, same thing, for the, or 2 days, interesting, 2 days in February last year. Chase, 30% month of October. Chase, 30% month of, well, a month between August and September. Chase, so anyway, as you can see, they semi-frequently will run transfer bonuses. The other option available is, of course, you can always open up another credit card. So this, in this example, was a Chase Sapphire Preferred. If you opened up a Chase Freedom Unlimited or Chase Freedom Flex, either of those cards will have a standard 20,000 point bonus. You might see it advertised as a $200 cash bonus, but Chase actually awards their credit card bonuses, when even though they advertise it in cash, they award it in their point currency, which is Ultimate Rewards. And once you have any Chase card that earns Ultimate Rewards or that earns cash, well, let me make sure I'm saying that right, because Chase does have, say, the Amazon card. They issue the Amazon Prime card, and that earns cash back, but not in the form of Ultimate Rewards. So I guess there's an exception there. But if it's a Chase branded card, it's not IHG, it's not Hyatt, it's not Amazon, it is Chase. Then their cards, even though advertised as cash back, they issue the bonus in Ultimate Rewards. So if you were to open up a Chase Freedom Flex, Chase Freedom Unlimited, then you would walk away with a minimum of 20,000 Ultimate Rewards points, equivalent to $200 cash. But in this case, we would want those 20,000 in order to have enough to book these flights. So that would obviously get you to 95,000. If you had 75, got 20,000, you're at 90,000. And that would be enough. So you wouldn't even have to wait for a transfer bonus in that scenario. The other thing to just show you would be that, Portland to Maui. So we are looking at flights, just to show the cash price. We're looking at flights from the 1st to the 9th, nonstop, flying Alaska Airlines. And it was this flight, I believe. 542. Yep, 542. So if you wanted to book that flight, it would cost you $600. Let's just up it to 2 people, just for kicks. Yeah, so you are looking at a $1,200 out-of-pocket expense that we are talking about getting. Oh, let's just assume it was this one. I don't remember which one it was. That looks right. We're talking about getting this $1,200, 1167. No, that's booked with some random website. No, you want to book that direct. So $1,200. We're getting it for 88,000 points. So 88,000 points. Maybe that's another good one. We could call them cash price. We'll say U divided by 100. Oops. Divided by U. Yeah. So you are getting 1.36 cents per point with your Chase points. That's not incredible. It's also not horrible, because you're getting a nonstop round trip flight for what is essentially free. If you were to take advantage of a transfer bonus, if you were able to time it right, then you could even get, so let's just copy that here and change this to M. Now I got 1.6 cents per point. Now I got 1.76. So these would be great values for your points. And again, this is flying economy. You don't have a lot of points. 75,000 Chase points might sound like a lot. It's actually really not that much. So being able to get flying economy with just this number of points for the dates that you wanted, because these were our parameters. Sometime in July, we kind of arbitrarily chose the 4th of July weekend. Just kind of makes sense. Most people would have that time off or be able to take that time off. And we found, the exact flights that you wanted with from Portland back to Portland, pretty good. And to get 1.6 cents, 1.76 cents, even 1.36 cents. The fact that you're getting over 1 cent per point is a good day. I would say that's a good day. This is pretty limited. You only have Chase points and you only have a small number. If you were to say have American Express points, City points, Alaska Airlines miles, Bill points, Capital One miles, if you had more options of point currencies, then you'd have more options for flights. But because we only had Chase, we only had their transfer partners to work with, given the departure city, the dates, and all that. So I would say that's not bad. That is not a bad use of your points. And at the end of the day, your 75,000 points were worth $750 cash. 88,000 miles or points that you would be spending is $880 cash if you were to use all those as Chase points. But you were able to squeeze $1,200 out of $880. So you really got, just to illustrate, U minus U divided by 100, you got $300 extra from your points than you would have gotten had you just redeemed them for cash. So this is an illustration of how to use your points, how you can go about finding ways to get more value out of them, and to actually get those free flights that you've heard about. Because yeah, the interesting thing is maybe you're like, I got these points, but I don't really know how to use them. I don't see flights that are available, blah, blah, blah. So you just go and you cash out your points. You spend $600 of that cash on a flight, and you spend the rest. And anyway, you're out of pocket $318, more than what you would have been. Actually, no, even more, depending on the transfer bonuses and whatnot, the different ratios of values that you're getting. So, the last thing that I would close with is this concept that I often heard in school, which is, or not a concept, but a saying that I would hear in school from my professors, is there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's no free lunch in life. And the idea with that is that nothing in this world is free. Simple enough, right? It's a simple enough concept. But I always struggled with that, because I always thought to myself, well, actually, something like this is free. I mean, yes, you are going to pay $22 out of pocket cash between the 2 people round trip flights. It's going to cost you $22.40 in those just domestic taxes. But aside from that, you're getting a $1,200 flight for $22. That's as close to free as you're ever going to get for 2 round-trip flights to Hawaii, nonstop round-trip flights to Hawaii from your home airport for $22. That is the free that we are chasing here. No, it's not free. And of course, as we've been talking about, 75,000 chase points or 88,000 chase points if you needed to spend just all of them in chase points without a transfer bonus. That's equivalent to, if you were to cash that out, $750 or $880. That is cash money. That is your opportunity cost here when you redeem your points for flights like this. So it really just comes down to what you value most. Are you trying to get to Hawaii like no matter what, and you'd be willing to spend cash money on it? Then you can kind of think of these flights as costing you $750 or $880. Again, depending on how many you had to use. Now, did that come out of your bank account? No, but chase points and lots of other point currencies can be viewed as having a cash value. They absolutely have a value. What that value is going to depend on how you use the points. But this flight, this opportunity, this trip, it wasn't free in the true sense that you spent absolutely nothing for it. You spent your points, but your bank account is not any more in the red due to redeeming your points other than the $22. So that's as close to free as you're going to get. Of course, everything in life has an opportunity cost. You could have done this or could have done that, but depending on if your goal is to simply get from point A to point B and have that experience, this is a great way to do it. It's about as good as it gets. That's it. That's all I got.